It is day 46 of 365. I am in Toledo in Spain. As I mentioned yesterday on my video, I decided to take a very short, spontaneous rendezvous with a very close friend of mine, Alexandra. We just felt a need to escape the cold, rainy busyness of New York City for a few days. And so we chose Toledo out of the blue. Neither of us have been here before. I think she did a little research before we got on the plane, but I didn't know anything. And when I got here, I did not know that Toledo was a walled city. I didn't know it was an ancient city that was built thousands of years ago. And it's fascinating and it's gorgeous. And I'm happy that I didn't know anything about it because I wanted to have a completely new experience. So yesterday we did a little sightseeing, and I did not know that Alexandra is fascinated by architecture. I mean, loves architecture. So we did a little walking around and sightseeing, and she took some photos. And today we were supposed to go on this choo-choo train thingy, a train that looked like a choo-choo train, to go around the city because it's a walled city, and she wanted to see all of the buildings and the castles. But the train was booked, so she asked me if it was okay for us to walk. So we walked for about an hour and a half, and we saw a lot of beautiful architecture, and it got a little hot, so we said we were gonna just head back to a cafe near the hotel to get some water. And suddenly, in a faraway distance, she saw the entrance to the city. And this is a walled city, so every person, the millions of people that have entered this city, had to walk through that entrance. So she said, "It's so cool, can we go see it?" And I said, sure. I mean, it was a little hot. I said, if I ended up passing out, if they took me to the hospital, I would have gone to a hospital that was in a castle. So that would have been kind of cool. Anyway, we walked there, we eventually got there. And as she's looking at the buildings and taking photos, and it's fascinating to look at how fascinated she is with all of these beautiful buildings. And again, I had this thought in my mind, like, I'm not really a sightseer, but this is kind of cool. And as I had that thought, I turn around and I see a statue of the emperor that used to rule at that time. And it had the year, and it said 1500 something. I don't remember the exact year. And it dawned on me, now, wait a minute, I used to read about this in the history books. I used to learn about this in elementary school and in middle school about 30 years ago. And how amazingly amazing is it that I get to walk through the city that I used to read about in the history books. And I looked around and I said, this is where that emperor used to walk into his city. This is where he used to live. This is where all of those people that created all of the art and this architecture and has shaped a lot of the culture that we have now with their creativity and just everything that was happening at that time. And suddenly my appreciation and my presence for where I am like skyrocketed. It was really like an enlightening experience for me because, you know, I was present, but I wasn't like really present to all of what is around me. And how amazing is it that I get to walk in an ancient city that was built so many years ago, thousands of years ago, by the people that I used to read about, that I was fascinated with, where this is where they had a lot of destruction and a lot of wars, and where the knights were, and just I used to really be fascinated with that type, with the history and the civilization of that time. And I get to be in it. And I didn't, you know, I was a little ignorant to the fact that I was actually here and this is where it all happened, because I just was, I'm not really into sightseeing, like that ignorant thought that passed through my mind. And I could tell you this, I'm not going to be having that thought again, because first of all, I'll never get to have this experience again. Even if I come back here, I won't get to have it with her. And if I do, I will be so much more present to what is around me, because I've done this in other places where sightseeing is not really my thing, and I missed out on so much. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Just I have to be where my feet are. I have to be present to what is around me, because I'll be missing out. And my whole thing is about having new experiences and seeing how other people live and different cultures. And I had like an epiphany today to all of this. So that is what I wanted to share with you. And I'm so thankful to Alexandra for bringing me here. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.